everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another video. It is me, the Review Master 19, and today we're going to be taking a look at an unboxing. Yes, it was in shrink wrap, but I did look at everything, make sure everything was in, of Atlantic Sentinels, or Sentinels. This is by Compass Games, New Directions in Gaming. This is my first ever game by Compass, and I had a choice between Corvette Command by Alan Eagle, Atlantic Sentinels, or I had a choice between the Hunters, and I chose Atlantic Sentinels. I saw this on Amazon, picked it up because these things go very quick. This is a awesome game made by Gregory M. Smith, North Atlantic Convoy Escort 42 to 43. In this game, you command a group of convoys, and you are trying to protect against the perilous U-boats, and I've wanted a game like this for so long. And it really is a cool game. I did see this on Kickstarter, and I didn't back it because I'm not really good with those things. I'm not going to read everything, but pause the video. Hang on, I don't think, no, it's too big. You're not going to be able to see it all. Unless you've got really good eyesight, in which case, try to get it in shot. Pause the video now if you want to read all that. But yeah, so you can historical destroyers and corvettes. You've got B, C, D, E class destroyers, F class destroyer, H class, Town class, American Lend-Lease, V and W class destroyer, Treasury class cutters, River class frigates, and Flower class corvettes. It comes with one full colour counter sheet, the 9.5 16-inch counters, very nice. If you want to clip them, you can clip them, but you know, I'm not a clipper, so I'm not going to do that. One rule booklet with designer's notes. Apparently there's some jigs in the rule book, so I just watch Gregory M. Smith's video on YouTube, much better. One rule booklet with designer's notes, 5 play raid cards, 2-sided, 2 play raid cards, 1-sided, 1 convoy log sheet. Yep, it has a lot in there, and I'm not going to read it all, but yeah. Pretty cool. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. Off the box, and I'm not even joking, guys, the robust design and the glossiness of the box is really nice. It's going to be a very good box, you know, to store the game in. So here's what we agreed to, and the box is sturdy as well, although mine came a bit damaged. I mean, that's not a big deal. I don't intend to sell this game, why would I? But yeah, really cool. And I didn't know this, but look, it has Flower class corvette. Entered service of 39, so you've got a few little facts there. And of course you've got the Type 7C U-boat. Entered service in 1936, and I think that's it. That's really nice. I don't think that's been covered before, but hey. So we get some dice, which I'll open up now. And we get 2d6. Okay. A d20, of which I will replace because the numbers are absolutely fading off. Then again, I might keep it, depends. And then you got 2 d10s. These are nice. Apparently they're supposed to be black, but my version didn't come with that. We've got a sequence of play cards. I've seen these on the YouTube and the website. Let's see how good the quality of these cards is. Okay, nice thickness to them. It's a playing card at the end of it, isn't it? So this is basically sort of like a hand sheet thing. So you start, prepare to play, select escort group, prepare convoy log sheet, set up escort group display mat, place escort group markers in either St John's or Londonderry. If you're British, you start at Londonderry, and if you're Canadian, you start at St John's. Escort missions start. Alright, very nice. I love the artwork as well. Conduct mission. Encounters. combat prep, detection. I love this. This reminds me, I've never owned it, but it reminds me of Atlantic Wolves. But very nice. So it gives it a ghostly feel. The U-boat, attack U-boats. U-boats versus convoy, encounter sequence, air encounter. Yeah, that you can encounter Focke-Wulf condors, which I love. And for once, we're finally hunting U-boats. We're not being the U-boats, of which every U-boat game is the same, you know. You have amount of torpedoes and such. So very nice cards, you know, you don't need to shuffle them. They're just there, sequence of play. Double checked everything's okay. The rules of play are a bit confusing. On the back of the instruction book of the rules, you do have chart B8 U-boat damage listings, and Compass Games are no exceptions when it comes to, you know. So this is the U-boat damage listings. This will tell you what the U-boat damage is. So that's pretty cool. Of course, it has U-boat detection sequence, approach box, method, and has a few things there. So I'll run through the rules quick. So you've got your introduction, how to play the game, this QR code of, in case you're missing anything, game equipment, operations map, what all the different counters mean. There's even Fido, the other torpedoes that the Germans used. Start, log sheet, and this is probably my first ever game. I'm not going to run through all of the rule book, but you sort of get the idea. And yeah, so there's that. There's the rule book. So now I'm going to quickly cut to the charts. There are charts in this game, so we'll go from beginning to the left. This one is the M1 small freighters. You roll 1d10. Of which I think you would roll 2 of them. Yep. So this is the small freighters. And these are actually all real. And depending on the amount of tonnage that you have... Sorry, that the U-boats have sunk depends on your victory. If you've managed to escape and managed to make it through the map. You got small freighters and then you have large freighters. And I tell you what, this game is going to be awesome. I have watched Tom Hanks' Greyhound, and it's a highly recommended film. Table H1 on 113s, these are the convoys. Alright, 1d6 and 1d20. Yep, a cam ship is a catapult armed merchant. Yes, catapult armed merchant. And then you've got ONS 154. And you've got all the other ships there. And then, of course, we have the chart B, attacks and detection. So U-boat torpedo to hit chart, modifiers. B4A Fido homing torpedo. And it does tell you the years and what they're in. B2 attack damage, damage to sink, torpedo dirt, U-boat damage, escort detection, B4 escort and air attack. Now you can only have air cover, depends on when, but in this game you'll be flipping through a lot of charts. So when you begin the game, I'm very new to this, so I'm going to be probably flipping charts over charts, but I'm sure there's easy ways to make it. So for example, you can have a different play area and stuff so you can keep track of that. Random events. Rompers, caught unawares. I'm not going to read that all because I don't want to get I don't want to spoil the fun for you. If you have a combat armed merchant, you can try and shoot down the condor, and condors shadow you, basically telling U-boats where you are. I don't think they attack. U-boat quality, so it'll tell you what the U-boat is, if it's a green trained veteran or elite, or in my turn an ace. Yep. And then we've got chart C1, U-boat targeting, long range, medium range, close range, target explanations. There's a little thing there. Yep. Weather, yeah, there's stragglers as well. Flak, aircraft encounter. Yes, because the U-boats can fire flak at you if you launch aircraft. or not launch aircraft, but if you choose to have aircraft, of which, you know, you've got the refit, upgrade, and air support phase, only until the 8th of 42 for the for the catapult arm merchant. And what that was is they just basically stuck a Sea Hurricane or a Hurricane fighter, or whatever they had, to a merchant with a catapult, and if need be, they could fend off attacks from condors and such. Long range air, CV support, hedgehog, I'm not going to read all of that. HDF is Huff Duff, high frequency direction finding. And of course you got that. And then the last one we have is the convoy assignment. This will be telling you where you are and where you go. Encounter chart, wolf pack size, yes, because there are wolf packs, and you do not want that. And then you've got tankers. Yep, and you roll 2 of those. Alright, so now that's the charts. Let's move on to the other chart of the U-boat. Charts in this game, and it will really feel like a strategy, you know, of U-boats and such. So you've got, this is the U-boat combat map. So this is where the U-boats will be controlled, and this is where they will, of course, attack your convoy. So small freighter, you will obviously show the damage. Large freighter, tanker, capital ship, warship, torpedoes. Torpedoes is spelt wrong. It's torpedoes, which is German for torpedoes. Or in English, it's supposed to be DOES. Attack damage chart, damage to sink, U-boat range, close, medium, long, surface or submerged, escort detection chart, and then modifiers. So you'll have to keep that in there. Incoming hits to U-boat. Very nice. And escorts. So this is the U-boat combat map. It's not double-sided. And then we have the U-boat damage chart. So you have 2 U-boats. You have the Type 7C, and you have the Type 9s, which you'll rarely come across. So deck guns can be damaged, flak guns, batteries, hydrophones, all sorts. If the U-boat floods, it must surface. And if you hit the hull, you will sink the U-boat. You've got the incoming hits. The Type 9's a bit different, and this will affect how the U-boat attacks. So I'm going to keep having to remember that we're fighting the U-boats. We're not going after a convoy. I mean, you could make this a convoy kill mission if you really wanted, but, you know, that's highly unlikely. I'm going to zoom out because the next chart is the tactical display, and this is what I love. This is where the game really shines for me. ASDIC detection chart. This is where we have our convoy. It's double-sided because you've got large and medium, small. Straggler box, that's where you're going to be putting your stragglers. You've got your escorts, so you'll be moving them around, and it depends on what zones the U-boats will be in. And then you've got day or night. U-boats can do night attacks, and then you've got available attacking U-boats and the air attack box, of course. And then on the other side, it says T1A and T1B. This is A, so tactical display. This is a massive, larger convoy. And then this is your small convoy. But the larger convoy is what you really need to worry about, because that's when things start to get really, really bad, as the U-boats will try and shadow you. I wasn't really a fan of this artwork, but now I've got the game in my hands, I can sort of understand now. You know, it's the Atlantic. It's going to be grey and gloomy, and of course you're going to be on site for U-boats. So that's that. There are a ton of charts in here. Not charts, but, well, there is, but you get lots of paths, so you don't need to worry about running out. This is where you'll be, you know, doing your assignments and stuff. And here's the thing, yeah? If you run out, you could do all the way to June. It goes all the way to June in December of 42, but it ends at 43. And it's double-sided. So you can play a lot of games in, you know, this box. You don't need to worry about finishing. You finished a bit and then you're like, oh, I need to do February 42. And you can just tick it off as you go. And, you know, that will basically show you everything. You don't have to use these, by the way. I'm not really a guy who does all that. Alright, now I'm going to pause and we're going to take a look at the really good counters. Bang! Counters. So, it was really difficult for me to not open these. And I know for a fact, as soon as I take them out, they're all going to come out. So, there's a first time for everything. So, the counters are really cool. There are 2 blank ones for some reason. I'm going to show you what the U-boats look like in the game. There's quite a few of them. God, the counters are really difficult to sort of get out. They're going to need a lot of cleanup if you clip your counters. I'm not a clipper, but I do sand my counters. So here we have a Type 7 U-boat, and there is actually detail on these. Excuse that. For some reason, the box has some sort of wood chipping in it. So on one side, on the other side, it's detected, and then this side, it's not. And then you have Type 9s, and that will just basically tell you the experience. We have crew. So yeah, there's going to need to be a lot of cleanup. So don't worry, I've got it. So veteran is a -1, which is good because the higher the number, the higher chance of U-boats. Trained as well, so there's a lot of those. We have elite. Let me take these out. Okay, so, excuse me. So we've got elite, -1 H and -1 R. Don't know what that means yet, but very nice. And then we've got green, -1 D. So I guess this is your crew. So green, I guess, is when you begin, and then trained, and then you become a veteran, an elite, and then you can become a veteran and such, I guess. So there's a lot of counters, and I'm not going to show you all of them, but you got small freighters. So I'll just quickly take one out. So here's what a small freighter looks like, and small freighter on the other side. We have tankers. Yeah, you really want to keep an eye on your tankers, because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. You've got flower classes as well, which is lovely. And flower class moved, and I'm not sure what the one means yet. But I'm really glad that they have took time and effort with the counters. Here's a tanker counter. Really accurate. I love it a lot. Focus, please. There you go. What else do we have? Small freighters. We have large freighters as well. I'm not going to show you every single counter. Well, I would, as much as I'd like to. I don't really want to go over the runtime, so. But yeah, we've got all sorts of counters. We've got hedgehogs. We've got Type 271s, which is radars. We've got Fidos. We've got incoming hits to the U-boats. I love this. Look at this. Surfaced. Isn't that beautiful? Superior. G7A Steam. Focke-Wulf 200. Condor. Lots of U-boats in this game. Lots of them. So, and you got hull damage as well. So, that's pretty cool. Catapult. Armed Merchant with a Sea Hurricane. Extra air support. Huff-Duff. High frequency direction finding. CVE. Carrier something, I don't know. Touchwood, that's a skill. ASW, air support, wing, I think. Trained, and I think they're, yep. So you can train them as well, and then that will show that you've used it as well, which is nice. Yep, high frequency direction finding, I was right about that. Hedgehogs, as you can see, and your hedgehogs can fail as well, so. Oh wow, it's submerged as well. It's even got a submerged counter. That's really cool. I like that. And the inop means, the U-boat is inoperable, and damage as well. And then you've got all these. So I'm now going to jump cut, and we'll have a look at the mounted map. 2 mounted maps in the game. There is the main one, boards. You have the main one, and this is where you will be controlling your operations. So if I bring out the convoy direction counter, of which there are 2 for some reason, you can keep track of the direction of your convoy, and we can also, you know, keep track. Say like it's a large convoy, we could put it there and we'll be moving here. The seas represent areas where the convoys are, and that's because it's near Norway. And they'll shuddy and report. I don't think they attack. I need to read in the rules. Air gap, this is where you will not have air support. So if you are in this area, be aware that you will not have air support. And you have to make it to the end. Another thing is these dotted lines is where there is air support. Now I'm going to quickly jump cut and we are going to look at the other map. Mounted map board is, of course, the escort group display map. This is all your destroyers and frigates, and of course you'll be keeping track of your crew and the cutters and the corvettes and the current combat cycle. So that's the two. You get two mounted boards. You get a whole sheet of counters, a pad, a lot of charts, and what we're going to do now, we're going to do an overall summary of what I think of the overall construction of the game, and then I will definitely be doing some playthroughs. But anyway, guys, that was Atlantic Sentinels unboxing by Compass Games. Take care, and I shall see you in the next one.